thought you were going to talk a little longer than that. Well, embarking on this journey was sort of was a labor, and there was also a lot of curiosity, and I wasn't getting the answers that I would have liked to have gotten from the family. There was information coming from a lot of different directions, and I couldn't get good information. So what I did, we're starting on our. Is he trying? When I embarked on talking to my wife about starting on a family tree, and her family, they tried to start a family tree, and it caused so much confusion about who belonged to who, when, and where, that they gave up on it. So what I've done is I've put together what I'm calling the first draft, and I've made some copies I'm going to pass around and people look at, make any corrections, any additions, any information that they want to add to it. I see some faces here I haven't seen before. If I don't have you on there, I'd like to add that information to it. But basically, starting from our family tree, which we normally have on our t-shirts every 2 years, in this case 1 year, it always starts with Henry and Annie. And then most of the information I use from the United States Census, basically, I'm going to try to make this as simple as I could, because the tree branches in a lot of different directions. So my starting point was with Henry and Annie Brown. And basically, in the first census I could find before she passed away, moving from that point back, there was 2 other daughters in the household that are not listed on the tree. And that would be Mary Mitchell, which was her married name, and also Bessie. So in looking at this, and some of the things that I found, I had to kind of do a little detective work to figure out how the pieces fit together. So when I saw Bessie, I knew there was an Essie, so I'm thinking, well, maybe there was a name that was misspelled on the census, because this is all handwritten. But turns out Henry Brown and Annie, there was a big gap in their age. He was in his early 40s, she was in her early 20s when they married. So in doing that, that tells me that with the other 2, maybe there was another wife. So he had another wife, her name was Arlene, and with her, he had, I want to say it was 9 children with her beforehand.
How many children did he have altogether?
So with let's see here, the Henry Brown, let's see, 1, 2, Renee Noah, living 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 16, 17 children altogether.
Wow.
So basically what I assumed is when Mary and Bessie was in the household after Annie passed, it was because he needed help with the children, I'm assuming, because they were all pretty young ages from the infant that died that she gave birth to that when she passed away. This baby, because back then they didn't always give them names right away because the mortality rate was pretty low. So they didn't give them names right away because they didn't know if they were going to live or not. So this baby only was listed infant baby on the census, no sex, male or female or anything. So this is, I'm taking this the baby that was born when she died, because she died after childbirth. But I'm assuming that baby did not live much longer because it did not show up in the records anywhere else at the next census. So going back to the previous marriage, there was Mary Mitchell, Henry Brown, which wasn't a junior, he has a W as initial. It was Wilson Brown, John W. Brown, Adeline Brown, which he named after his mom, and we'll get to, Samuel Brown, Astenia Brown, Stella Brown, and Bessie Brown. So that was his first marriage. His father name was Joseph Brown, which is the oldest living relative I could find from 1827. He was born in North Carolina. And his wife was, Allie Brown. And they had, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I think 7 children. And some of those branches of the tree I was able to find, some of them I couldn't. There's Amanda Brown, and she had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 children. And in these records, it also shows how many kids they had and how many survived. And she was the only one that all of her kids survived. The rest had at least 3 or 4 children who didn't survive out of the ones that they did have. Then there was a James M. Brown, and he had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 children. And there was a Joseph Brown. He wasn't listed as a junior, but he was, Joseph Brown. He's only shown to have 1 child that I could find, and a Beline C. Brown, and Melina Brown, and Lucy Gill. And actually, that one is actually the most recent one that I found, and actually this person, which I haven't been able to get in contact, actually has some information on a website as well that they've been searching their history. So we kind of connected online. They were out of Conway, but their oldest living relative in that family was in their mid-80s. But I haven't been able to make any personal contact, but except for on the internet, because they were also looking. Someone in the family is also looking at some of their family tree. Another arm of the tree that Mom spoke of was Ola Brown, which is where this tree comes from with the Robinsons. And I've been in contact with Floyd Brown. He has a family tree that he put together. Oh, I'm sorry, Robinson, that he put together. And he's supposed to be sending me that information, but he's been working out of state. And we'll add that to the tree. But he has about 300 family members in that arm of the family as well that we can add to that when I'm able to get that.
Wow.
Because that arm of the tree, we kind of found out by accident. Cleo Robinson, we worked for the same company. I started with the company in 1992, and we worked together for 2 years and found out that we had some relatives that were in common. we were relatives by pretty much by accident. We've been working together for a couple of years, and then his family became part of the reunions as well. That's about it without getting too complicated or get too deep into it, because like I said, there's a lot of branches going a lot of different directions. And when you take on a task like this, it's a hobby in a way, but it's also a job. It's a lot of different arms for the tree. But if anybody has any questions, I'll take a seat.
All righty.
Oh, let me add one more thing that we talked about yesterday. There was another arm. There was Emma Brown, who was Emma Evans. I'm sorry, and there was another set of Browns who were married into the family who were a different set of Browns. So it can be a little confusing when you look at the tree, but it looks like a brown.
Brown versus a brown.
It was a different brown. Yes, because if you look at the census, and I have copies, what I did, I made copies of everything. So you wouldn't have to take my word for it. You can see it and go through it all yourself. But in some of the townships that they lived in, there were several different Browns, that wasn't connected to our Browns in the same area, but they weren't actually actually connected to it. So you see a brown, marrying a brown, and part of the tree, but they were completely different families.
They're not cousins.
They're not cousins.
Thank God. Question, Mr. Parker?
No, well, there's more information to come at the next meeting.
There's more information to come, and each time we have a reunion, I gather more information, and that's part of it. And I have, like I said, there's one copy already floating. I have 4 more copies here. People look through, find their families, make any corrections, add anything that I missed. Because like I said, I put on here, this is the first draft, so it's a work in progress.
Thank you.
One second. Can, how do we contact you if we?
Sorry. You can contact me on my personal email, which I have on here, and it's also on the website. But the website, there's been confusion. It's not brownfamilyunion.com, it's .org, because that other family is a different brown family.
Another Brown
Another
family.
brown family. But it's .org, brownfamilyunion.org. There's videos from previous reunions, and this reunion will be attached, pictures, the genealogy. You can download some war records from some of Caponia and some of the other family members that you can find. All the genealogies I can find, and any past reunions, information, everything down to the itinerary from the past reunions on there as well.
Thank you.
There's a question over there.
Do you intend to distribute a copy of that throughout the,
Yes, I'm going to distribute it, and there's also a copy on the website. You can download a full copy. It's 105 pages long, but you can download the whole thing on the website if you want to. And as I get more information, I'll update it. The one I have up there now has a family tree and has the date that I posted that. So when I post a new one, it will have a new date, so you know which one is the most recent one.
what's the expense that you incur compiling all these things?
I value my time, so it's very expensive.
Sweat equity.
Plus, there's a monetary involved in keeping the site up and also posting the site, and the company that runs the site, in the background,
Right.
that protects it from viruses and things like that.
Well, you should make that known so you can be reimbursed for it.
It's a labor of love, so.
Thank you. James Conner, family historian. Thank you. That was beautiful. Okay, that ends our program for tonight. There's food if anybody, we're gonna keep the food for our other family members when they get here. I think the band is set up and ready to play, and Pauline's ready to dance. So, with that said, we're going to end our program here. The fireworks are going to be outside. I don't know if we're going to be able to see them from...
I don't think so.
Fair.
Yeah,
We won't. She said no.
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 Pause. I mean, on
Could you see them downstairs?